Interviews. Don't you just love interviews? Yeah. We all hate interviews. We're on the spot. We usually find ourselves in front of two or three or three or four different people. Once I was even in front of 28 people being interviewed. And no, it wasn't a jury for a crime, just in case you're interested. The point is, it can be a stressful time. You're on the spot. You're risking a lot. People are going to ask you questions that you may not know the answer to. People are going to press you until they found out what you do know and what you don't know. That by nature is stressful, but here's the thing. Compared to my generation, when we didn't know what the hell people were going to be asking us in an interview, we'd see an advert, which was 3 lines long, we'd send off a CV, we'd get interviewed, we'd go to the interview, and we didn't have a clue what we were going to be asked. Your generation is far luckier. Why? Because normally an employer, especially if it's a large company with a human resource management, DRH department, they're almost certainly going to produce not just a 4-line job advert, but they're going to produce a job description, a description of all the things that you're going to be doing on a day-to-day, week-by-week basis, the things that you're going to be responsible for, budget, people, and all that type of stuff. They're giving you a lot to go on. Likewise, they're then going to go on and give you what we generally call a person specification. What type of person do they want? How much experience? How many qualifications? How much international travel? How many languages? How much expertise with new technologies? All of that. That's what they're looking for. They're giving you a menu. Hopefully, if you've gone through my stuff on CVs a little while ago, you will have worked out that you should be using the job description and the person specification to be able to prepare for the CV, and now you can use it to prepare for interview. Why? Well, it's easy. Imagine, here's the system. You send something in. It's an application, CV, covering letter, maybe an application form. Somebody in the human resource department has gone through that, looked at it under a magnifying glass, and then decided, hopefully, that you are worth being interviewed. That's terrific. And they're probably going to score you against each single criteria that the company wants you to have. Or that's for the job description, or each single thing they want you to be and to be able to do. So, when you're at interview, you can expect normally a number of different types of questions. No one is going to jump down your throat from the off unless they're an idiot. The first question is almost always in an interview going to be something that settles you in, because we all know that it's a nerve-wracking situation. So somebody is going to ask you a question which is probably going to be on a subject that you are the world expert. You. So somebody's probably going to say, tell me a bit about yourself. Oh, frankly, that is a pain in the arse of a question, in the sense of you've been alive for 22, 23, 25, 30 years, or in my case, 61, 62 years. You've packed a lot of experience into that. What exactly do they want to know, for Pete's sake, that you can contain in a couple of minutes answer? So one opportunity, if you asked just a completely open-ended, vague question like that, is to say to them, well, I've spent quite a lot of time on my CV and in my covering letter talking to you about my qualifications and my experience. Would it help perhaps if I talked to you a bit about myself, the type of person I am? You can always try to narrow things down like that. In fact, focusing on the personal, the type of person you are, can be very interesting for them because they're not just acquiring, if they employ you, a set of capabilities, they're acquiring you, the person you are. Everything you are comes with you. So the first question is normally a soft one to bring you into the interview situation. But don't be fooled. They are in fact listening to you. But if the question is too massive and too open-ended like that, narrow it down. Have something pre-prepared. Well, I've got this project that I've been doing recently that I thought you might be interested in because it's so close to your business, in fact, and there was a real problem when we conquered it. Would that be a good thing for me to talk about with you for a moment or two? They'll almost certainly say yes to whatever. Otherwise, all they're going to get from every candidate is, I'm 23, my name is David, I did a master's, and then before that I did a degree, and I got my baccalaureate. Oh God, it drives you nuts. So think about how you're going to handle that first question, because predictably it's almost always going to be something to ease you in, which is something about you. So prepare something about you which is brilliant, that will surprise them, which has power behind it. Okay? What are they going to go on to next? Now the interview really starts. Well, it's quite probably going to be something which is about the things that they think, according to your covering letter and your CV, you do well. They're on their list and you appear to do them well. So the first thing they'll be checking is, are you as strong as you seem to say in your covering letter and CV concerning these things that we think are really valuable and important to us? So have a good example there, ready to run out, where you've been successful, there was a problem, you've solved it, etc., etc. So that's the first thing. Checking that they are right when they think you are strong in a particular area. What's the next level? Well, you should have worked it out by now. It's, well, you're not exactly weak here, but, you know, there's a few holes in the profile that we were looking for in respect of this and that. Maybe there were things you didn't say. Maybe there are things that we would like to hear. Let's just check if you've got them. So you've got the opportunity there for areas where you know you have something, but perhaps it's not brilliant, to prepare in your interview rehearsal an example, something that went well, a suggestion that you could do better, whatever it happens to be. Obviously, you know where the third one's going. You didn't say anything about this. This is on a hit list of things that are important, but you don't really say anything about it at all. What do you have in your armory as regards X, Y, and Z? Well, if you know you don't have something, you can't just put your hands up and say, no, I don't have that. You have to have something that says, I didn't have that, I'm getting it, and by the time I arrive, I will have got it. So you need to work at those things where you know you are weak. They've given you a list of what they want. Go through it. Candidly analyze yourself according to the things they want you to be able to do and the things that they want you to be or to have. So wherever you're brilliant, great example. Wherever perhaps you didn't have time or space in your covering letter or CV to develop this, develop it. Where you acknowledge that there is a hole, how are you going about filling it? Do you want to take training? Do you want to ask, okay, I admit it, this is an area that I've not really encountered before. I believe I'm strong pretty much everywhere else. But in this area, would there be a training program that I could follow at the company? Certainly, I've looked online and there are training programs online which I intend to take before I come and arrive to work with you. But it would be nice to think there is something better, further, higher that the company operates. Could I at least pre-sign up to one of those things, please? Okay? So you've got a number of questions about those type of things. What else is going to come at you? Well, You've now considered most of the things on their hit list. They were in the job description that you used for your covering letter and CV. They were on the person specification that you used for your covering letter and your CV. So you should be well prepared for this now. Inevitably, you're going to get some odd questions. Ladies, how about this one? I noticed from your CV that you are now 28. You've been married for 4 years. Are we going to find that if we recruit you, in 6 months' time, you're going to be saying you're leaving on maternity leave and may or may not be back? You know, and I know, that's a question that should not be asked. It's illegal to ask it. But people do ask it. How are you going to handle it? What about, yes, you've done very well. Thank you. We're thinking of offering you the job. You've interviewed extremely well. How much money is it going to cost to be able to get you? Those are difficult questions. You have to have thought through an answer beforehand. To the having a family question, you can't just say, oh, I don't want to answer that. You shouldn't be asking me that question. That's probably going to upset them, and they're not going to like your approach to that. Similarly, for the financial question, how much salary, just saying, oh, well, I'm sure you will offer me what you think I'm worth, that's not answering that question either. So there are certain questions that you can think of that are almost certainly going to come up where you need to have thought through a convincing answer for them. When you get towards the end of the question, there should be a final question. And normally, if you've got a good interviewer, that question will be, do you have any questions which you would like to ask us? The answer to that question is always, yes, I do. Never say nothing. Why? Because it's not so much about you finding out extra information. It's more an opportunity for you to show them that you are interested. What do I mean by that? Okay, if you said something like, what opportunities are there for continuing professional development and training within your company? Because I would see my career developing with you, but I would like to think that there is support for the development of my career within the company. Could you talk to me a little bit about that? That says, I'm interested. It's not just a job. I'm looking at a career. I'm thinking of a future. I'm prepared to take training and develop myself to the company's advantage. You are actually selling them 5 or 6 really important things. When? Right at the end of the interview. And right at the end of the interview is one of the places where they tend to remember most about what you said. So please, 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 think about it, okay? There we go. There are many other questions I can rehearse you for. There are some stupid questions that occasionally get asked, but here's the good news. 85% of the questions that you're likely to get asked, you should know in advance from an analysis of the job description, the person specification, and comparing those with you and how you fit them, whether it's a strong fit, an okay fit, or a really weak or non-existent fit. Those are the things they're going to try and do and push you as far as they can to do. Okay? So you can go into an interview pretty damn well prepared, provided you aim to get there early. Never aim to be on time. 50% of the time you'll be late. You'll be running, you'll be hot, you'll be sweaty. There's no point in doing that. Be there early. Sit there in the waiting room, watch others arriving late and all hot and sweaty, etc. You can be reading the company magazine and picking up little bits of extra information to drop into the interview if you want. Lots and lots and lots and lots of things you can do. So if you're traveling, go up the previous night, rent a B&B, Airbnb, whatever else it is, and be there. Be able to walk so you don't have to depend upon public transport. Be there. Okay? Final thought. If you need to know anything from the company, ring them up and ask. A previous student of mine in the UK rang up and asked a company and said, would it be okay for me to come and see one of the managers of one of your sports centres and bistros? I would like to actually go and see them to chat to them about how they think things are going and where the company's going, because the job was for a development role, a management development role. And his approach was, well, how the hell can I come up with a strategy for this? The strategy being what they asked him to prepare for the interview. How the hell can I do that without actually having spoken to anybody? It would be stupid. What he found out was that when he went to the interview, he was the only person to have asked that question, the only person to have gone and talked to the people that mattered. Result, he was told that when he walked into the interview room, he had the job already right there in his pocket. He could have only had a disaster and come up with crazy ideas in the interview to lose it. They had already decided that in showing them that he was aware that he needed to go and talk to people before he formed his ideas, that was the type of people they wanted. So there you go. Think about those type of things. Okay? Great news. The bad news before was 85% of CVs never looked at. The good news here, 85% of the questions at interviews, you should know in advance. And that gives you a hell of a lot of confidence. You can walk in, sit there, be cool. They might not give me the job in the end. I've done everything I can do. If I'm not good enough and they want somebody else, then that's their problem. They've missed out on me. But I have done my homework. And that is a recipe for being relaxed in an interview. And I don't mean relaxed as in this, but I do mean not being frantically febrile and nervous. And that shows. Do your homework. And if you've done your homework, you can walk in confident. And you can look around and you'll find a lot of your competitors will not be confident at all. That's the secret for good interviews. Okay? All right. Thank you very much, guys. And I hope that's helped. Please rehearse your interviews as well. 2 or 3 rehearsals with parents or friends or local people you know who've recruited people before. Get them to put you through an interview rehearsal. You probably need 3. 1, you'll get it wrong and get feedback. 2, you'll get it mostly right. The 3rd time, you'll be putting the gloss on it. Always rehearse, rehearse, and rehearse. Okay? All right. See you then. Goodbye.